In this world, nothing is certain but death, taxes, and technology. For most, that means new phones, better tools for workflow, cooler cars, or bigger, skinnier screens to watch your favorite shows.
300-inch flat screen. They only sell them in Japan, but I know a guy.
For new parents, that means debating how much screen time is appropriate for their children. They might even have friends who, 5 years ago, completely banned their kids from having certain devices until the age of 10. But is that possible now? From ages 2 to 5, children's brains are developing at hyper speed. So when you throw in, let's say, an iPad for a couple hours a day, what happens? Well, truthfully, we still don't know. The digital age of parenting is still in its own infancy. Full studies like this tend to take around 30 years, and the first iPad was just released 10 years ago. So there's understandably a lot of uncertainty to worry about. But we can get down to the basics. Tablets, phones, or any other interactive device can be a great tool to help parents have a moment of peace, and any parent of a toddler knows how valuable that is. Today's technology can also be beneficial to kids. There are tons of apps that promote early learning and reading, and technology can connect children to loved ones across the globe. But with the good, there's also some not so good. Too much screen time with young kids has been shown to negatively impact these 3 areas: language development, obesity, and sleep. You know what's interesting? Researchers have been concerned about how technology affects these 3 areas for a while now. In a 1939 study called The Radio in Child Development, these same 3 factors were discussed. So, should we minimize screen time for toddlers?
Come on, let's get on with it. I don't need all that jazz about smugglers and pirates.
In 2016, the American Academy of Pediatrics released a study saying evidence is sufficient to recommend time limitations on digital media use for children 2 to 5 years to no more than only 1 hour per day, while adding that parents should co-view whatever their child is watching. But that was 5 years ago, and tech, especially for children, has become more mobile, interactive, and accessible. In 2014, a study in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that children 0 to 2 had a daily average of 3 hours a day in front of a screen. And a 2017 Common Sense Media report found that 98% of toddlers live in a home with a smartphone present. And because of that, 98% of children aged 3 to 4 are able to navigate mobile devices. In a follow-up 2020 study, 90% of screen time was found to be used for watching TV or gaming, where just 4% was used for reading and homework. Today, with screens everywhere we go, it can be difficult to limit screen time with kids. But maybe that's a good thing. The world is becoming more digital by the day. Even classrooms have more screens and textbooks now. Maybe when it comes to technology, giving children these tools early will allow them to grow up more prepared to live in our digital world. Right? Well, let's hold up.
The National Institutes of Health study is following more than 11,000 children over a decade. In early testing, researchers found significant differences in brain chemistry for kids who had at least 7 hours of screen time a day compared to kids who use screens less.
That change in brain chemistry? It's found to be a thinning of the brain's cortex. This is the part of the brain where our critical thinking and reasoning takes place. So while these kids may be great at technology, they may struggle with other learning and critical thinking tasks. It's like if you went to the gym and only worked out your right arm. You would have a really, really strong right arm, but the rest of your body would be nowhere near as developed, which would leave you, overall, weaker. Yeah, not so good. All right, let's talk to an expert.
There's been a lot of discussion about kids and the evils of technology use. But the truth is, technology is neither good nor bad. It's a tool, and it's all in how you use it. The question is, how can we help our children to be responsible, healthy tech users? And the answer is, I don't know. I don't have a generic answer for all kids of a certain age, but what I can tell you is that the answer lies in you. You're the expert on your kids. Set your expectations early. Have conversations together about what's fair and what's appropriate based on ages. If you notice that those expectations aren't being met, such as homework's not getting completed, chores aren't getting done, then that's time for another discussion about changing the expectations and the privilege of getting to use those devices. Remember, prevention is the key, and it should be an ongoing conversation. Now, I know for many parents, one of the great fears is losing your children to the caverns of their room and watching them turn into zombies. But the reality is technology can bring families together too. Don't be afraid to play with your children. Join their virtual world. You can help create these fantasy worlds in Minecraft, or you can play hide and seek in Roblox, or actually get some physical exercise and go on an adventure in Pokemon Go. Remember, technology is neither good nor bad. It's a tool, and it's all in how you use it.
So, what do we make of all this? Well, the answer seems to lie somewhere in the middle. Ultimately, you as a parent are the deciding factor in how your child is exposed to screens. It should also be said that you need to take your own mental health into consideration as well. So if you need a little quiet time, don't feel guilty using your iPad or putting your child's favorite movie on as a tool. As long as you know what they're watching or interacting with, it's okay for your child to use technology in moderation, like on flights, or you just need some time to decompress after a frustrating day at work. You should be able to give yourself permission to use these tools to help with your child. Let's take a note from John E. Anderson, the author of that 1939 study. The radio is with us and will be with us for a long time. Although its educational and entertainment possibilities are still being explored, there can be little doubt of its importance in the lives of children. It's good to be cautious when introducing a new device to a child, but it's not something we should fear. Yet. As long as we help children use the resources available to them as tools and in moderation, it will set them on a path to success.